Wuhu Island is the iconic vacation destination from Wii Sports Resort that we all wanted to visit in real life at some point. Don't lie to me. I know we all wanted to visit this incredible location with its stunning beaches, luscious grass fields, and beautiful views. And as we all know, Wuhu Island isn't real. But what if it was? And what would be the best way to experience all the island's amazing activities in one complete experience? Well, that's what I'll be doing today, and you'll want to stick around for this one, as I believe I have made the best route that no one else has probably ever thought of. First off, what are some basic ground rules that we will have to follow? Well, rule number 1, all the events are required to be events where only one single person can participate, with the exception of any island staff that are needed for the event. This means that any sports that require 2 people, like dogfights or speed slice, will be disqualified. As I believe that you would have more fun doing these things with a friend than you would be doing it with a complete random stranger, would I not? For example, which would be more fun? Playing laser tag with a bunch of randos, or playing laser tag with a bunch of your friends? Secondly, I'd like to have at least one sport from each category. This is so tourists of Wuhu Island can have the greatest variety of activities without getting burnt out by doing the same activity over and over again, or just doing activities that they could just play normally in their hometown. Third, the order of activities must be routed in the most efficient manner possible. This is so we can conserve on time for other activities. But how would we know which activities start where? Well, through the use of a scuffed map. But even when we know where each of the activities start and end, how are the tourists going to get around? Well, this is where we're going to steal the public transportation map from Waking World with modifications to the Godzilla suggested by a comment from a viewer. Sorry, not sorry. Now, as predicted, 90% of sports start in Wuhu Town. However, sports like archery, canoeing, obviously don't. So we will need the public transportation map for that. Now, I have kept you waiting for long enough. Let's get into the actual order of the events. First off, how are we getting onto the island? Well, there is the boring way, which is taking the boat to the island. We know people can take boats to the island thanks to the Queen Peach. But of course, there is another option which will take one of the required activities off the list. That one, of course, being skydiving. I mean, it is literally the intro of the game. You cannot convince me that the only way onto the island isn't skydiving. From there, the parachutes will loop around Maka Wuhu and land at the town center, which is a great introduction and for all the non-plebeians who didn't take the boat here. Now, what kind of sport would you describe as a comfort sport? Because I personally would describe bowling as a comfort sport. Now, why are we starting with bowling rather with something more popular like swordplay? Well, for one true reason. If tourists land their parachutes next to the fountain, then they can simply take a quick jaunt to the bowling alley, but basketball is equally close, if not closer. So why not do basketball? This is due to the fact that not only is bowling a sport for all skill levels, but it's also something familiar to almost everyone. But regular bowling is something everyone can do, so why do it at Wuhu? But you know something that only Wuhu has? Probably. 100-pin bowling. Not only is it a fun challenge, but it's also something unique to Wuhu Island. Remember, the key here is not only to have unique sports, but fun sports. Now for another sport which also features a lot of balls, basketball. The reason we chose to do this sport next is so we can quickly get from bowling to here, as according to this cool map I found, which is entirely in Japanese, the courts and the alleys are only a stone's throw away. As we all know, basketball you too can do anywhere. So, how are you going to make this unique? Well, the 3-point challenge. Not only does it require no friends to play, the whole goal of this one is to sink as many 3-pointers as possible, which I happen to find quite fun. Luckily, the sport is quite close to bowling as mentioned before, which is one of the goals of all this. From here, we will take the bus to the cycling game and compete in a one-stage road race around the island, as this will serve as a good tour around the island, which will allow our tourists to see the locales of the island, whether it be the ancient ruins or the beautiful view of the ocean surrounding Wuhu Island, or even the private resort around the south side of the island, all while we finish at the town square and we give the tourists a glorious view of the natural wonders of the island, as well as teasers for future sports, such as sword fighting. While we are close to the Kokobah Hotel, otherwise known as the Seaside Hotel in the European version, or the Australian version, I can't tell which one. Point is, we will take a quick bus ride down to the Kokobah Hotel in order to ping some pongs and ding some dongs when we eventually get bored of ping pong, so I can ding dong dash some random person's room. Now, since I can't guarantee people are taking the advice of my tour and have any friends who are willing to come to a resort with just the two of them, we will take the return challenge. Not only do I find this game mode quite fun, but it also supplies good challenges whenever a drunkard puts one of their beer cans on the table like the drunkard they are. Next, where do we go from table tennis? Well, what is right next to the Kokobah Hotel? It's the power cruising starting point, according to the island flyover map, but according to the map in Japanese, the power cruising starts near the island flyover starting point. I'm confused. Point is, we are going to hop on the power cruising place. Do you know why? Because everyone loves jet skis. So we get to go power cruising and do the time trial thing. Because who doesn't love going fast in the open sea? You don't? Why not? Well, I say we take a quick boat ride to the nearby Coliseum and for sword fighting. Because what is the best way to blow off steam? Is it doing mindfulness activities? Going fishing? Well, I know the best way to blow off steam. Beating people with a stick! I mean, there's no better way to let off steam. Name one better way. A punching bag? Well, is it as cathartic as seeing your enemy plummet into the water? I did not think so. But now, after committing several instances of assault with a stick, but it's legal, how about we take a calm gondola ride to the nearby Duckling Lake in order to have some calming boating or canoeing. While on the gondola, make sure to take some photos and looks at the beautiful landscape, because Wuhu Island doesn't supply life jackets, and if you don't bring your own, well, it might be the last thing you see. But what is more relaxing than canoeing? If you say fishing, then yeah, you would be right. But at the same time, canoeing. Time to take the canoeing speed challenge. And while it is encouraged to go as fast as you can in the sport, at the same time you can just take it slowly, cruise around the lake in the free paddle mode. Oh yep, you can just slowly paddle across the water and chill in the lake. And while we're here, why not take things just as slowly with archery? I mean, you can take it equally as slowly with archery. Just breathe in, breathe out, and take the shot. And when you do make the shot, you can get the satisfaction of potentially getting a bullseye. I mean, who doesn't love being in the middle of a forest with no one else around? You can feel nothing but relaxed and chill, all while listening to the serene sounds of the forest. Now we need to go a bit off track, as we need to go way off track and head all the way to the docks right next to the Queen Peach, and head over to the Wuhu Island docks in order to do some wakeboarding. This was actually a personal favorite of mine. Plus, what could beat the utter enjoyment of flinging oneself into the air from the wake of a boat? Oh, so that's why they call it that. That's why they call it wakeboarding. That makes so much sense. Now, instead of heading back towards the dock of the Wuhu Island, let's head to the Wedge Island to enjoy some... Okay, I can't even lie. Golf is lame. Plus we need to take off one last sport, that being frisbee. But who wants to play dog frisbee game with a dog who is not their own? Plus, I can guarantee at least one of you are not a dog person. So let's combine the uninteresting and the flying into the imaginary sport, imaginary activity, frisbee golf. It is miles better than both of these sports combined. I've never played it in-game nor in real life, funnily enough. But it's definitely more fun than golf, and that's the real point here. But of course, nothing will be as fun as mini golf. Well, there are two ways back to the Wuhu Island. Swimming or flapping our arms really hard. Or we can take the seaplane back to the island. Or while taking a loop around the island, reflecting on the memories you've made throughout the day, the beautiful sights of the island reflecting in your eyes, all while we land in the pool of Kokobah Hotel, with you being able to sleep in your comfy cotton bed. And this is the perfect way to explore Wuhu Island. Now all you need to do is find something to do for the rest of your trip, because all this takes up about 1 day of activities. Maybe I didn't really think this through all that much.